That's what people show on the internet. Before and afters, 90-day transformations. Oh my goodness, look at all the muscle I put on. In the first year, you can expect to put on 20 pounds of muscle. That's what everyone does, right? Wrong! Coach Greg, in today's video, we're going to go over transformations gone wrong. Up first, the guy, he was 20 years of age, weighing 175 pounds, and he did seem to be very aesthetic, but he wasn't happy with his physique, and so he decided to use and abuse performance-enhancing drugs. What were his results? Well, after only 3 years, remember, this guy is only 23 years of age, he put on over 75 pounds of muscle. Guy bulked up to 250 pounds from being only 175 while getting leaner at the same time. And so thinking he was going to get praise, he in fact got quite the opposite. And so the vast majority of people said, this is not good. This is not something we're on to copy. And so frankly, I'm happy to see this. It would be sad if everyone said, oh, what did you take? What did you do? I want to do the same thing. But rather than that, this is what people are saying. Bro took the whole pharmacy. Bro aged 15 years. You looked way better before, bro. Youthful, athletic, great body. Now you look like a farmer from the Soviet Union in the year 1890. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. The changes in his physique are, in fact, remarkable. He has amazing quads, wide shoulders, tremendous definition, and a lot of muscle. Exactly what you're looking for when you use and abuse performance-enhancing drugs. The guy could clearly go into a bodybuilding competition and place exceptionally well. But it does, in fact, come at a cost. And I'm not only referring to his health. Obviously, if you were to get his blood work done, test out his insides, I'm sure they would not be healthy. But what does this do to your exterior? And I know a lot of the comments saying, he aged 15 or 20 plus years. But remember, the guy grew a beard. People that grow beards almost automatically, instantaneously makes you look a lot older. Case in point, Chris Bumstead. Guy is a supermodel. He's been using steroids for multiple years. And many people saying, oh, you age so much. You look like you're in your 30s. But when he has a beard, it covers up some of his facial features. But one thing I noticed as I was about to book a Botox for myself, remember, I'm 47 years of age, going on 105. I said, this guy looks so old because of the crease in his forehead to go along his beard. And so if you were to get Botox and remove that crease, perhaps he would look a lot younger. And so what I did is I zoomed in on his face and I rotated it 180 degrees. The crease in the forehead does in fact look like lips. He has a nose, and the hair in his head does look like a well-formed beard. But we don't know his story. Perhaps he's an MMA fighter. MMA fighters, they get hit in the head with their elbows, glancing blows. He could have been injured. He could have been cut, and perhaps that is what's left over. Guy's only 23 years of age, and frankly, he does look like he's well into his 30s. But listen, we all have the right to look exactly the way that we want. And so although we're poking fun at him, I am certain that many women, probably thousands, find this man extremely attractive. You're thinking, well, he looked so much better when he was 20. Well, perhaps for you he did, but maybe for him he did not. Why do you think he went and used performance-enhancing drugs? Perhaps he did not feel comfortable in his own skin. Perhaps he did not like the reflection in the mirror. And so by adding in 75 pounds of extra muscle, perhaps he's gained extreme confidence. Perhaps he loves his body. He certainly looks a lot more imposing, a lot more intimidating, and I'm certain if you walked up to him, nobody would be saying anything negative to his face. Easy to poke fun at him as a keyboard warrior in a video, but this guy, he does have a very imposing physique. 250 pounds of raw hard muscle, vascular, and so on. And so just because he doesn't look like a pretty boy the way he did when he was 20, doesn't mean he's not happy with his physique. He's proud of his physique. This is my 3-year transformation. I put on 75 pounds and I got leaner at the very same time. An example of this in Hollywood, look no further than Zac Efron. How many people thought that Zac Efron was not attractive as a teenager or into his 20s? Well, perhaps Zac Efron didn't. After all, did you not see the changes in his face? It does in fact look like he's had cosmetic surgery. Perhaps he was not happy with looking like a pretty boy. Wanted to look more macho, manly, more rugged looking, and so therefore he made those changes. And so although many people perhaps felt Zac Efron looked better in the past, I'm sure there are thousands who find him much more appealing, much more attractive now than he did as ever before. Bro switched bodies and thought we wouldn't notice. Nice try, Skinwalker. You're not fooling anybody. Now, there's one thing I really want you to remember. When you take or in fact abuse performance-enhancing drugs, its effects vary from person to person. He's only been on them for 3 years. I abused steroids for 10 years and perhaps even at higher doses than this guy. And do I look like I aged 20 years in 3? I don't think so. If anything, most people say I look younger than my actual age of 47. And although for the last 4 years I've only been on HRT, 140 milligrams a week, of which many people don't believe me, but I can tell you not everyone who uses steroids is going to age to this extent. And regardless of the fact that he used or abused performance-enhancing drugs, he perhaps would have aged regardless. We don't know anything about him personally, don't know what he's been through, what he's been taking or not taking, the sports, the activities. Perhaps he's been out in the cold, struggling, fighting the elements. We don't know. But we do know is that steroids can in fact age you. They can in fact shorten your life. And so if you are going to use them, please be careful. And next, the opposite situation. Quite the opposite. The guy weighs 150 pounds, about to quit the gym. He can't make any gains, been weighing the same thing for an entire year. Seriously thinking about quitting lifting, it's been about 1 year. I've gained weight, but I haven't put on any muscle. And so you can see in the first photo, guy looks to be an ectomorph. He seems to be at a healthy weight with a healthy body fat percentage for him, but not carrying a ton of muscle. A guy with perhaps below average genetics for building muscle, and so it's going to take time. And so the guy decided to go on a bulk for an entire year. And during this time, he added a little bit of muscle, but mostly excess body fat. And so he now looks at his reflection in the mirror, and he's more disappointed with it now than he was at the beginning. And so he increased his body fat percentage. Perhaps he was close to 10%, below 15% for sure. And at this point after a year, closer to 20% body fat. And so what did he expect? Well, he expected what you all think. Oh, you're not putting on muscle, you're perhaps a little bit too skinny, eat a ton of food, and a year from now, you're gonna look like Chris Hemsworth. Why? Well, that's what people show on the internet. Before and afters, 90-day transformations. Oh my goodness, look at all the muscle I put on. In the first year, you can expect to put on 20 pounds of muscle. That's what everyone does, right? Wrong! And so what do I say? Gain slowly over time. And if you have amazing genetics, 1 in 1,000, perhaps you're putting on 20 pounds of muscle. But for the most part, most people be lucky to even put 10 pounds in their first year. And yeah, there is such a thing as newbie gains, but even with newbie gains, still hard to put on 10 pounds of muscle for most people, especially if you're an ectomorph. And so people who have expectations of putting on all this size, oh, I'm going to join the gym, 3 or 4 years from now, I'm going to look like a bodybuilder. It's not going to happen. For the most part, most people who train for 5 years in the gym can barely even tell that they work out. Yeah, he looks fit. Do you go to the gym? You're thinking, I've been training harder than last time for 5 years, doing everything perfectly. Yeah, but you're doing it natural. But you're comparing yourself to people who are not natural. And trust me, just because they don't look like Coach Greg doesn't mean they're natural. You're looking at the Alex Eubanks, the Max Taylors, the Shizzies, thinking, oh, these guys are all natural. This is what you should expect. Of course not. They're the 1 in a millions with the best genetics out there. I look at my body now and I feel more disgusted than I did in the first picture. I messed around in the first 4 months, but I've been consistently training and tracking calories and protein for the past 8 months. Push, pull legs 2 times a week. I weigh 150 pounds right now, and I'm getting on average 150 grams of protein a day. My chest looks horrible and saggy, and everything else looks horrible as well. Getting close to giving up because I am not seeing any progress besides putting on fat. Must be doing something wrong. What exercises? What rep range? Have you been progressively overloading your lifts? How intense are your workouts? Do you sleep well and enough at night? Ask yourself these questions. Maybe you'll find a solution. Good luck. Don't give up. And so those are all great questions, and perhaps one of the solutions relies in those answers. But it is also possible that he's doing all of those things correctly and still is not making the progress that he wants to see. Just because you eat in a calorie surplus and train harder than last time, eat properly and get enough sleep, does not mean you're going to make extremely noticeable changes in only a year. The problem is the majority of people, not just the majority, the vast majority of people will not come close to meeting their personal expectations about training in the gym. What we are shown on social media is the top 1% of the top 1%. And so what we have is a skewed skewed, warped perception of what will actually happen if we go to the gym. For some people it will happen. It did for me. I went to the gym, I put on a ton of muscle, got exceptionally strong, became an IFBB pro bodybuilder. But for the vast majority of people, not even 1 in 1,000, they're not going to get even close to the results that I did. And so although I looked extremely impressive as a teenager, as a natural in my 20s, people would say, there's no way you did that natural. Coach Greg, you must have been a fake natural. Why are you saying these guys are fake natties when you had a better physique than they did at the same age? And the answer is because I was lucky. I was born with those kind of genetics that very few people actually inherit. And so what this guy and others need to realize is it's going to take time to build that dream physique. Just because you're on a bulk, just because you're increasing calories does not mean you're going to get the results you're looking for in only a year. And so he says, I'm thinking about giving up. Do you know what would happen if he would give up? He's going to digress. He's going to get even worse. He's likely going to start gaining even more body fat. And perhaps in 5 years, the guy weighs 400 pounds. We don't know. Everybody is different. To add on to this, diet is a key thing. What are you eating? How much of it? Are you getting in enough protein? Do people even read the comments that are being put out? Guy clearly stated he eats 150 grams of protein a day. He's clearly in a surplus as he's gained substantial amounts of body fat. And you're thinking, oh, it depends on what he ate. Was it chicken, broccoli, and rice? Did you not see Sam Sulek's diet? Guy was eating cinnamon toast crunch, chocolate milk, whole milk, Five Guys restaurants, donuts, and so on. Had a horrible diet. Yet, look his physique. The guy had a shredded six-pack, 250 pounds, stronger than most IFBB pros. And so the reality of all this is it's genetics. And yeah, Sam Sulek is not natural, but is the answer for this guy to go on performance-enhancing drugs? Should he also take drugs? After all, people are comparing themselves to people they see making transformation on social media, almost all of them while using drugs. Perhaps some of them admit to it, but the vast majority are not. And so with this biased, warped, false perception of what is actually attainable, people keep thinking, it's not worth it. I'm not doing good. I should quit. Wah! Why don't you train for 5 years and see if it works? 1 year. I'm not good enough. Imagine if I quit after my first year of bike riding. Do you know my first year I did a triathlon? Guess what place I got? Last place by a lot. Did I come back the next year? Of course I did. How did I do? Third last. Oh, I'm going to quit. I didn't do very well. Well, 5 years later, I was a provincial junior champion. And 7 years later, placed third in the men's open division. And what would have happened if I had to quit? I would have never have known or sensed that feeling of self-accomplishment, of putting in the work and working harder than last time to get that feeling. It took 7 years to place top 3 in the open division and provincial championships. Every year, I got a little bit better. I joined the swim team, joined the cycling team, and ran harder than last time, oftentimes putting in 20 hours of cardio per week to achieve my goals. But no, it's been a year and I'm not happy. My chest is droopy. Yeah, you went on a bulk. You never main gain. You say, I'm just going to eat extra calories. Long as I'm getting in the calories like Sam Sulek says, well, I'm going to get my dream physique. It doesn't work like that. You have to work for it. You have to earn this. Even eating McDonald's, it's not hard to get better results than this. Guy is doing something wrong, probably half-ass lifting. Edit, medical issue crossed my mind. Maybe go get your test levels checked or general blood work. And so yes, it is in fact possible he might have lower levels of testosterone. But remember, it might just be his genetics. Just because he's not making significant gains doesn't mean he's not trying. Let's examine Brentley G, who's been embarking on a weight loss journey. As a high school student, Guy weighed close to 200 pounds, was in fairly good shape, played football, 6'4", good-looking guy. Over the years, he ballooned up to 572 pounds. Since that time, he has been dieting. In his most recent updates, he's below 450 pounds. Many people would look at him and say, why are you 450 pounds? Are you not dieting? Are you not trying? Yet he's going to the gym daily, oftentimes doing 2-a-day trainings, doing cardio and weights. And so you might be thinking, why did he lose 200 pounds? Why is it happening so slow? He's probably not trying. Have you ever thought his genetics are not as good as yours? That you find it easier to lose weight than he does? For some people, it's an uphill battle. They're always struggling. It's hard to be in a deficit. And so just as it's very difficult for Brentley G to lose weight, it's equally difficult for this guy to gain muscle. Not everyone is cut out to become an IFBB pro. Not everyone is going to gain 20 pounds their first year of training. And so if you haven't watched my video on genetics, perhaps you should give that a watch. Some people have ultra elite genetics. They can put on muscle just by looking at the weights. Other people with shitty genetics or horror awful genetics, they have a very difficult time putting on muscle. And I'm not saying not to get a coach. Of course, a coach can help, as well as my cookbook. Also, I have training books and a circle diet book to help people who don't know what to do, various training programs, dieting tips, everything you needed to know to get to your dream physique. But just because you know what you're doing doesn't mean it's going to be easy for you. It still is going to be a challenge, and more so for some than others. So the next time you judge someone thinking, oh, they're training wrong, they haven't gotten the results that I had, they probably just don't want it as bad as me, I probably work harder than them. They might be working twice as hard as you, eating twice as good as you, and getting half of the results, all because of their genetics. And so to this guy, keep going, keep trying. I know it's hard. I know you're comparing yourself to other people, but remember, compare yourself to yourself. You're 150 pounds right now. Let's see how you look in another year. Stay 150 pounds. And I guarantee in a year from now, your 150 pounds is going to look different. You're going to slowly put on muscle, all the while slowly losing fat. It's not going to be noticeable from month to month, but it will from year to year. It takes 10 times longer to build muscle as it does to lose body fat. And so please expect transformations in terms of putting on quality muscle to take significantly longer than those trying to lose body fat. And so let me know in the comment section, did this video help? Do you realize that not everyone has the gift to put on tons of muscle, that we should stop comparing ourselves to other people, stop looking at the transformations, the best of the best, the top 1% of the top 1%, and thinking that's going to happen to us? And remember what I keep saying, halfway there. Whatever is your dream physique, whatever is your goal, halfway there. If you get halfway there, you should be happy, you should be satisfied. You can then reset that goal and again, halfway there. Ask yourself, are you doing better today than you did yesterday? And can you do better tomorrow than you did today? And if you are, and if you can say yes, then you're doing your job and you should be proud. Interested in any of my supplements, for example, G-Test, 3-Test, ActiBuilder, GO2 Max, improve your cardio, your endurance, help you to build muscle. Everyone, you can click the link in the description and don't forget to use my code for 10% off. So many different supplements in there. Don't forget about protein powders, pre-workouts, creatine, everything you could ever want. Check it out. Head to my website right now. Like the video if you in fact like it. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button to get notified right away, and comment to boost the algo. Watch one of those videos, and of course, the training books, the cookbooks, the coaching plans by me and my team, the Circle Diet book, the Harder Than Last Time clothing line, tank tops, hoodies, sweaters, jogging pants, and all that stuff. Please head over to my website right now. And until next time, I am out.